Good evening and welcome to Dearborn Public School Board meeting of May 12th, 2014. I'd like to call the meeting to
I
order.
wrote it down.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Adams.
Here.
Trustee Guido.
Here.
Trustee Lane.
Here.
Trustee McDonald.
Here.
Trustee Shell is here. Trustee Schoolmaster.
Here.
And President Barry.
Here. Just want to acknowledge that Trustee Adams is here via telephone conference call.
You can hear everything, Pam?
I certainly can, thank you.
Okay, and you're now on the loudspeaker system so they can hear you.
Thank
Next item,
you.
please.
Yep.
Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Mr. Joe Martin, principal of River Oaks Elementary School, will introduce students who will lead in the Pledge of Allegiance. Smolla, how cute.
Welcome.
All right, good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce two students from River Oaks. We have Sarah Mugni, who is a fourth grade student, and Ahmed Beydoun, who is in kindergarten.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job.
You guys could come up here. Thank you very much for coming.
Good job.
Thank you for coming.
And if you recognize the name, Sarah Mugni is Dr. Mugni, one of our principals. That's his daughter. He's here with us in the audience. Thank you for joining us. What's that? And you're right, and they match. Next item, please.
Superintendent's update, agenda items.
One item you do see on the agenda, the approval of the Wayne Risa budget. It's something that we're required to do by state law. It's not really fair because we're not involved really in setting of their budget, but it is before you. Their general fund budget is just about $14.9 million. PA18 special ed funding about $154 million. Again, this is a requirement by law. Certainly the superintendents, business officials, curriculum leaders, and others have been involved in giving our opinions, but it is their budget. They do it, but by law you have to approve it this evening. Non-agenda items, certainly this is Teacher Appreciation Week, so we certainly thank all of our teachers for the great job they do in our classrooms each and every day. They do an outstanding job. We're expecting them to do more and more, and giving them less and less time to do it, but they have to cram more and more in, and we certainly thank our teachers for the great job they do building relationships with kids and helping them achieve.
They deserve a round of applause. Sorry to interrupt, but-
No, that's good. That's a good interruption. As you know, this is busy time. We know next tomorrow, Tuesday, Dearborn's Got Talent, 6:30 at the Performing Arts Center. Wednesday, the 14th, we got Alberta Muirhead Teacher of the Year Award with the business community. Thursday, we have Henry Ford Early College graduation at 6:30. And then on Friday, May 16th, we have the 25-plus club dinner celebrating those who have retired and who have served either the college or the P12 for 25 or more years. So we're looking forward to those events. And you have a bunch of retirements on your agenda tonight, including Phil Hespin, who's been added, a Fortson counselor for 36 years. You have Suzanne Edick, a teacher at Whitmer Bowles, 20 years. Elaine, thank you, 32, almost 33 years. Michael Kalis, Department of Music, 29 in the third years. And Susan Quick, teacher at Whitmer Bowles for 20 years. So we congratulate all of them as they move on to the next phase of their life. And Eddie Fakori is here to do a quick announcement on the big read that we're involved with in the community.
I'm here as representative of the foundation, which was a partner for the Big Read, but I'd like to introduce Ms. Bartles from the library.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to take this opportunity to thank you. About almost 2 years ago now, the Dearborn Public Library decided to apply for a grant called the Big Read, and one of the important components of receiving that grant is to have community partners. And the Dearborn Public Schools turned out to be one of our community partners, and we are so grateful for your support, primarily for this publication.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, I put many of them on the table over there, And they were distributed throughout some of the upper grades, I believe, probably about maybe 2,000, 3,000 of them, but there's more over there. And we are so grateful for
That's fine.
the help of the teacher, Angelo Aquino, and the art supervising teacher, Kate Blair, for making sure that this publication was produced. The students in the graphic sciences department produced this, and they illustrated it. And Angelo, I'm sure, lost many hours of sleep making sure that we had it ready to go to press for our kickoff back in March. I would like to acknowledge the students who were very much a part of this. The project manager was Heather Hartline, Holly Ettinger, Tyler Davis, James Hatton, Miriam Saab, Larry Daniels, Mahdi Alabas, Hussein Saab, Khalid McDowell, and Haydar Akhtar. Without those students, this publication would not have been possible. And it allowed us to bring Jack London's Call of the Wild. We printed over 10,000 copies, and we distributed them throughout the community. So I want to thank you for your support. Mary Pizzamenti was very valuable in making sure that you were represented at the meetings and as part of the community partners for the Dearborn Public Library Big Read. The only other thing I'd like to add is that this is coming to an end. It was a 3-month-long program, and the very last program is May 17th, this coming Saturday, from 2 to 4 at the Henry Ford Centennial Library. We'll be having a actual sled dog team. We're not having the snow. We're going to leave that for next year. We're going to have an old-fashioned photo booth. We're going to have some gold panning, some arts and crafts for children. So it really is a great family event. If anyone wants to join us, May 17th from 2 o'clock till 4 o'clock at the Henry Ford Centennial Library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Certainly, thank you for the partnership in reading. Obviously, we know the key to all of our success in the school district and the community goes back to reading. So
Absolutely.
Anytime we can partnership with the city and
Yeah.
others on reading,
I'll remember
appreciate
that
it.
when we do it again.
There you go.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's it, Amy?
Citizen participation, citizens wishing to address the board on an agenda and non-agenda items for action may submit a blue card to me.
There is one coming right now.
You were close. I almost said I have none. We have a blue card from Lisa Saad Havesi. Would like to speak to the board about moving from Canton to Dearborn and wants to use of cell phone in elementaries, junior high, and high schools.
Come on up.
Mrs. Saad?
It's for both.
Hello?
I just have a question. I wanted to know the cell phone policy for the Dearborn Public Schools. Because in Plymouth Canton Community Schools, there is a no cell phone policy due to a lot of like social network cyberbullying going around. So there's like a no cell phone policy. And I want to know, what is the policy for the Dearborn Public Schools?
Do we have the contact information?
Yeah, if we can get your email, I'll make sure I get that sent to you tomorrow.
Okay, well,
We'll get you the policy.
Does the board know? I'm addressing the board.
Oh, I thought you said you wanted the policy. The actual
No,
policy?
I want my question answered because I'm moving from Canton to Dearborn in June, and I want to know because my children, they go to the Plymouth Canton schools. Right now, should I keep them in that school in September, or should I, enroll them in the Dearborn Public Schools? And this is a very big issue for me as a parent.
If you're asking if we have a no cell phone policy, we do not.
You do not.
We do not have a no cell phone policy. We changed that a few years ago.
Why is that?
Many reasons. I can tell you one of the determining factors that we had was, 8, 9 years ago from Columbine, and students having the ability to contact from outside the building. It's a controversial subject. There's pros and cons to both sides, and you know, with the rate at which technology is changing and the uses of that technology and teaching students proper ways to use the technology, I think it's important that we have the availability of notebooks, notepads, computers, and cell phones.
Can I?
McDonald?
I'm sorry.
One thing
go
I'd
ahead.
like to add, if that's your concern, is cyberbullying. We do have an outstanding response to bullying program in place in the district that also encompasses the entire community, and it addresses those type of issues.
Well, and also as a parent, I mean, it's your choice to not give your child a cell phone. They can't be bullied on a cell phone if they don't have one.
I want to tell you, Amy, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's my
Amy
name.
is for 20 years. The thing is this. When I went to I graduated from Fordson High School 20 years ago, and I love the Dearborn Public Schools. And we never had cell phones in the schools. We never needed cell phones in the schools. If there was a problem, we trusted the schools.
We didn't have cell phones
Yeah,
when I was in high school.
exactly.
So, and it
we
wasn't that much
trusted
more
the
than 20 years
schools-
ago.
We trusted the schools to take care of matters in their own hands. And my mother has lived for 34 years just down the street from Fordson High School. And it's a safe environment. And there is no need for children to have. And how do I, as a parent,
There definitely, absolutely is a need for students to have
To have
access to
cell phones?
technology. There are many uses
just
for
cell
them.
phones, not for technology. And I'm not talking
But
about iPads, iPods. I'm not talking.
I mean, I don't want to. I don't want to
to
get into a debate with you about it, but we can talk about this offline. But there are many reasons why,
But
because
no,
cell
but
phones
Amy,
are
I'd
different
like to
now.
get into this debate because I'm
Right,
here.
but it's not proper. I mean,
This is not-
it's
this
not
is not
something
the
That's
that.
why I recommend that you get a copy of the policy, study it, then, get your points across.
Mr. Barry,
Yeah.
I read the policy, and I seen the policy,
Okay.
and I disagree with the
You
policy.
asked for the policy, that's why I
Well,
recommended
no, I
the
didn't ask for the
policy.
policy. I asked just to address the board in the situation because I have a 9-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. My son goes to Montessori, and my daughter's in 3rd grade in public schools. And I love Dearborn Public Schools. I mean, I've thrived in Dearborn Public Schools. I'm not putting down Dearborn Public Schools. But the reason why my children were in Plymouth Canton Community Schools is because they did things differently that I agreed upon. I have many friends who work in the school systems who are principals, vice principals in Plymouth Canton and in Dearborn, and teachers and administrators, and I commend Dearborn Public Schools for doing a wonderful job. But I'm disagreeing as a parent because I am moving. I lived in Canton for 13 years, and I'm moving to Dearborn in June, and I'm moving my children. So, and
But
it's,
you as a parent can choose to not give your child a cell phone.
yeah, but my children. But see, the thing is, maybe there's a lot of cyberbullying going on.
But if they don't have a cell phone, then they can't be bullied
Yeah,
by a
but
cell
there's a
phone.
lot of cell phones that are in the schools right now.
Trustee Lane, you had a comment?
I was just going to
'Cause I need
say,
to wrap
part
up
of the
here.
policy is that if it interferes with instruction, and we used to do this prior to passing this policy, but when a cell phone is in sight and if it's interfering with instruction, then it's confiscated.
But they're more than cell phones now. The smartphones have a lot of applications that are helpful and beneficial to students, and while, with any piece of technology, whether it be a car or a book or, a pencil, when there are pros and cons to both. Pencils are required
Absolutely.
for learning, but they can also be used to hurt a student if they're used in the wrong way.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important that we, as a educational institution, teach students how to use those things properly. And we can't teach them if they don't have access to it. And there are a lot of benefits to them having the technology, because smartphones are more than just calling and for social networking. There's a lot of applications that are beneficial to the children, and
They can also cheat on. They can take pictures on those smartphones and cheat
There-
on
like
classes.
there's
They can do a
pros
lot
and
of
cons
negative.
to
There's
both.
pros and cons, and what I see as a parent of young children, the negatives outweigh the pros. And I would like to
Oh,
reissue this and maybe another meeting or something with the board, because like I said, I am a parent. I was born and raised in Dearborn, went to Dearborn Public Schools, went to Henry Ford Community College and U of M Dearborn. Okay, so, but
As a parent, I worry about my 9-year-old and my 4-year-old. I'm moving them back, and I need these issues addressed. And I, as a parent, and I worked as a social worker with kids who bully and with victims of bullying, and a lot of it has to do with social media. And it's a huge thing. A huge thing. I mean, the high schools were on lockdown twice last year and the year before because a child threatened to kill other kids because he was being bullied or she was being bullied.
In our school?
No, in Plymouth Canton.
Okay,
That's why
well,
there's a no cell phone.
The way that you said it, sounded like you were talking about our
Dearborn
schools.
Public, I'm not talking about Dearborn. I'm trying to say that's why there's a no cell phones policy. I just want to prevent that, Amy. I just want prevent that from happening.
Okay, I'm sorry, I think you just
Trustee
want to argue at this
Trustee
point.
Adams got, Trustee Adams, do you have something to say?
Pam?
No, other than, it sounds like this is a discussion that needs to be had.
That's exactly, I was gonna let you speak, then I was gonna take it from there. This is something that's gonna be,
I don't know whether the parent is aware of our bullying program, and I think, we need to have a discussion, but not necessarily get answers tonight.
yeah. And there's a time limit on this now, I get, way went over just out of respect for you.
Thank
so
you.
we need to move
And I
on, so
really
thank you
appreciate
very
it,
much.
Mr. Barry.
We will keep in touch and.
Thank you very
yeah,
much.
Thank you for your
Okay, thank
information.
you.
Okay. Next item, please.
Approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes of the following Dearborn Board of Education meetings. Special meeting, closed expulsion, April 28th, 2014. Board Report 13-140. Regular meeting, P12 meeting, April 28th, 2014. Board Report 13-141. Make any necessary corrections and move approval of these minutes.
So moved.
Support?
There's motion and support. There is no objection. Trustee Lane?
I agree with all the minutes as they're recorded, but I just wanted to ask Mrs. Mittal to please check the spelling on the special meeting. I've always seen Mrs. Joseph's name written as Jean rather than Gene, which is male. Mhm. Thank
Okay.
you.
Other than that amendment, there's no objection. Motion will be carried. Thank you. Next item, please.
Recognition and acknowledgements, commendations. Tonight, we have commendations will be read by Dearborn High School students Madison Murdoch, Iman Ayad, and Aya Zaid? Zaid, so I said it right the first time?
First of all, we just want to say it's a pleasure being here, even on this windy May day, for me and my students. But
The judges of Dearborn's 19th District Court recently joined students to celebrate the 56th anniversary of Law Day, acknowledging the importance of the rule of law. Hundreds of students from 5th through 8th grade at Dearborn's public and private schools entered essays in the annual Law Day Essay Contest. The theme of this year's contest was American Democracy and the Rule of Law, Why Every Vote Matters. The winners of the 2014 Law Day Student Essay Contest were awarded prizes and honors by Chief Judge Sam Salome, Judge Mark Summers, and Raymond Trudeau, representing the Rotary Club, the longtime Law Day sponsor. Also present for the ceremony were 19th District Court Magistries Linda Mack, Doraid Elder, and Adele Hart. Commendations to all of the students who entered the Law Day contest.
The winners of the 2014 Law Day Essay Contest were 5th grade first place, Safa Hijazi, Makala Yunus, second place, Ali Yusuf Bazi, Lori third place, Miriam S., Maples honorable mention, Ramuji D., and Gear Park. 6th grade first place, Claire Horgan, Divine Child second place, Gabriella Jagonic, Divine Child third place, Claire Garner, Divine Child honorable mention, Sophia Police, Divine Child.
and please forgive me if I mispronounce these names, but for 7th grade, first place Sahab Abdullah, Salina Intermediate, second place Hattie Z. Woodworth, third place Colin Garner, Divine Child, and an honorable mention Marwa Ahmed, Salina Intermediate. For 8th grade, first place Nadine Bazzi, Bryant, second place Knowles S., Salina Intermediate, third place Jessica Cackley, O.L. Smith, and honorable mention Alexander Turfy, Bryant. Now for William Ford, commendations to the students at the William Ford Elementary school who participated in the annual Jump Rope for Heart activity. Now, these students collected $1,903 for this great cause, which I think is an honorable mention for them. So, thank you very much for
Thank
having
you
us.
for all being here this evening. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anybody got anything?
I just want to mention that recently 3 of our students from the early college and the Collegiate Academy represented Dearborn very well in a conference on early college and community issues in Washington, D.C., and they were outstanding.
Thank you. I got one. It's hot off the press from Rod Alawan, School Life magazine. Hassan Dogman signed to play basketball at Northwood, and he signed as an academic scholarship to play basketball. Big difference there. Hassan is an honor student at Fordson and a 3-year varsity basketball player. He's also a member of the National Honor Society and Student Council. He signed a hype where he began his skills. Good luck to Hassan. Congratulations. Anything else?
Have
Yes.
we recognized the auto rowing scholars?
Not yet, we will be.
Okay.
I think we're
You know,
doing
those
them all
are-
one night.
Of course, yes.
You know, $1,000 scholarships given.
Yep, very
and
excited.
To 11 different students, and they're non-traditional scholarships that really make them much nicer in some ways. You know, a welder would get a scholarship, and in the past, an individual has been able to use a scholarship because of the fact that they wanted to become a mechanic, and so they use the scholarship money to buy the tools of the trade. And so, you know, it's a non-traditional. There are many traditional students that have the scholarship, but it's a great type of scholarship that one is given.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep, we will have a report on that. Thanks for bringing it up.
President Barry?
Yes, Trustee Lane.
Since I know the Stout choir is here, and I hate to hold them up, because everybody's really waiting for them, but
they're anxious
since
to go.
trustee Schoolmaster brings up scholarships, I heard a great comment, and the Stout students can listen for the future. I was talking with a parent about graduation, and she said, when talking about scholarships, I don't know who are these people that do this, but God bless these people, because there are many, many students who wouldn't go on to higher education without the type of scholarships, small scholarships that are donated, $500, $1,000. The seniors should be putting those together this year, and, you know, 500 here, 1,000 there. Pretty soon you've got real money, as they used to say in Congress when they were talking about millions. But they should be continuing to apply for scholarships, and even through the summer, there will be scholarships that will be awarded. So it's so valuable. And for people in the community, I hope that people realize that they can really make a difference with donating a scholarship. It just feels really great for all of those students when they win scholarship.
The last 2 comments sound like a special report.
Yep.
Coming up.
Oh,
Yep.
sorry about that.
No, that's
Oh,
good.
no, good stuff.
It's all good
Why are you
stuff.
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Stout choir performance.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay!
Good evening. It is again a thrill for me to be able to be here. The Dearborn Schools has been recognized by the National Association for Music Merchants as one of the best communities for music education again. Close to 1,000 different districts across the United States were looked at, and questionnaires were scrutinized, and highly qualified teachers and course recognition and number of students participating, continuity of programs from kindergarten through 12th grade, all of those things were taken into account. And Dearborn, once again, is being recognized as a magnificent community for music education. Thank you, school board. To showcase that, we'd like to let one of the select ensembles from Stout Middle School perform for us. They are under the direction of Mr. Jim Walters. Jim has been teaching for us for about 24 years, mostly at elementary. He has graduated. He is now teaching middle school.
After 24 years.
Stout Middle School.
Shining sea, let earth resound.
board.
From the valleys and from hilltops, from sea to shining sea, let earth resound with music and life the richer be. From the valleys and from hilltops, from sea to shining sea, let earth resound with music and life the richer be.
I do want to say, if I might, I do want to say thank you for your support putting music back at Stout for the second semester this year. I look forward to being there for many years to build the program. We appreciate your support. It is wonderful for us to have the opportunity to do that, to let these wonderful kids sing with those wonderful voices, and to develop that program all the way through means so much to us. And I just wanted to say a public thank you for your support in doing so. Thank you.
And thank you for what you've been doing for many years. Thank you.
The theme tonight is singing, so we're going to sing, sing, sing.
Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing like tee-tee-tee, ba-ba-ba-da. Now you're singing with a swing. Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing like tee-tee-tee, ba-ba-ba-da. Now you sing like everything. When the music goes around, everybody's gonna go to town. But here's one thing you should know. Sing it high and sing it low. Oh, sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing like tee-tee-tee, ba-ba-ba-da. Now you're singing a real good swing. Sing, 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 and swing. Everybody start to sing like tee-tee-tee, ba-ba-ba-da. Now you're singing with a swing. Sing, 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 and swing. Everybody start to sing like tee-tee-tee, ba-ba-ba-da. Now you sing like everything. When the music goes around, everybody's gonna go to town. But here's one thing you should know. Sing it high and sing it low. Oh, sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing like tee-tee-tee, ba-ba-ba-da. Now you're singing a real good swing. Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing. Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing. Sing, sing, sing. Sing, sing, sing. Bring out and swing out your swing. Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing like tee-tee-tee, ba-ba-ba-da. Now you are singing with the real good swing. Now you sing with the real good swing. Yeah.
Oh, we really should start
Thank you
every
very
meeting
much.
that way.
That was
certainly
your
wanna-
post music.
Certainly want to congratulate Lisa and the whole music department, Jim, for the great work all of your team does in making Dearborn a special place for music. And I appreciate the board's support for the teaching position so that we can have singing at Stout. But it's really the passion, the drive of yourself, Lisa, and your staff that is just so catching for the students to want to be involved, and it makes a difference. So one of the funnest times each year is to go to your concerts and see the passion and drive and fun that they have with the kids. It's very exciting. We're very lucky.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, thank you. Trustee Lane?
I would, before Mr. Walters leaves, I would like to say, I lived abroad for a while, and in the beginning it was difficult. So to get me through difficult times, I would sing. And I have since heard that singing is physically, it picks up your mood. You've got blood flowing, you've got oxygen in. So I don't know if you ever tell your students, but singing, nature, there are a lot of therapeutic resources around us that we don't take advantage of.
Well, okay,
And-
everybody,
and
here we go.
singing
Ready?
is a great one.
Sing,
Except this
sing,
board,
sing.
probably. So.
Wrong group.
We don't want microphone time.
Yeah, I don't think you want to hear that.
Thank you.
It is great,
Thank you.
though.
I agree. It's
Television ratings are.
a movie.
Yeah.
Thank you again for your support. We
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Next item, please. Follow that one.
Yeah, no kidding. Acknowledgement of donations.
We want to thank Mr. Philip Seymour, who donated 26 textbooks to be used for Fortson High School class for advanced placement statistics. So we thank him for that donation. No other?
No other? Next item?
Special reports, Reading Academy, Mr. Brian Whiston, Dr. Jill Chokol.
I'd ask Dr. Chokol to come forward, and I think Ross and Nadra and maybe some others are here to update you on the Teacher Reading Academy that we have put on this year and give you some statistics and some thoughts about how it went.
Great. Good evening, and thanks for the opportunity to talk about the Dearborn Teacher Reading Academy. You've heard bits and pieces this year, but the Academy leaders, Nadra Lamberti and Ross Groover, will share with you some of the specifics of the volunteer teachers who participated in the professional learning, as well as a little bit about the content. You have a PowerPoint in front of you. And certainly if you have questions at the end, we hope to answer as many of them as possible. We know that with the literacy demands increasing with Common Core state standards, that preparing our students may take some different forms. And in order to do that, as educators, we want to spend time reflecting on our practice and determining the best research-based methods of helping students improve their comprehension. So this K-8 initiative that Dr. Schenkman and I collaborated on in terms of just getting it off the ground had the support of the administrators as well as the academy leaders and instructional coaches. So I'd like to thank them for their time, because with 18 days of professional development and lots of days of preparation, it took a great deal of time for people who already have very busy jobs. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm Ross Groover, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the Academy and then let Nadra take over. So the Dearborn Teacher Reading Academy, we call it DTRA, and I really want to stress the fact that it was a partnership with the instructional coaches. Every single one of the instructional coaches participated in one of the cohort groups, and really were partners with us in working with the teachers on this journey that we took together. So who were we? Well, there were 78 Dearborn teachers that went through the academy this year. And they went through in 3 cohort groups. So we had kindergarten through 8th grade teachers. So it really was across a wide spectrum. And each cohort group was 6 full days of learning. So it was a combination of whole group. We tried to do very short lecture bursts, a lot of teacher talk with other teachers at their tables, a lot of hands-on, and they also went into classrooms. So they did some observational visits, and by all accounts, that was their favorite part. They really enjoyed the chance to be able to go in and watch other teachers teach. So our objectives for the academy, the overall academy, were really to bridge several of the elements, the brain-based instructional strategies, and then really exploring and spending in depth a whole day on each of the 5 components of reading. So phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. So we spent a whole day on each of those, but we also pulled in our assessments that we use in Dearborn to look at how to diagnose and then do instructional planning for reading instruction. And then we put that all together to look at the best, most effective ways to teach reading to our students. So we did have a research base for this, for the Reading Academy, and you can see some of the research base here. We really pulled from a lot of different areas for our research, and we looked at all aspects of effective reading instruction. This was kind of something that was a little bit of a we were searching for a way to help teachers put it all together. And so this was our components of reading puzzle. And so what we did over the course of the 6 days was really help teachers build this puzzle. And you can see the elements around the frame of the puzzle: effective instruction, brain-based, Common Core state standards, and then the whole reading and writing collaboration. And then the 5 components of reading are the actual puzzle pieces. And so Karen Berryman might be ready to shoot us now, because she actually cut out each of these puzzle pieces, and then teachers would actually put them together to build the complete piece of reading instruction. As you can see, it was a little bit involved. We also, I know you can't see this very well, but the literacy framework, we did put it back into the literacy framework that is in place in Dearborn Elementary Schools, and really looked at that piece of the Reader's Workshop, mini lessons, and tying it into the Daily 5 Cafe. And this was a model that we used for the research on the brain, and so talking about what actually is going on in the brain when a student is learning to read and using the different pieces of the brain.
This slide is difficult to read, but this is the cafe menu, which is part of the Daily 5, which is our literacy framework. And as the teachers learned about the different parts of the different components of reading, we would link it back to the cafe menu. And they would look for the strategies from the cafe menu to support whatever that area of reading was. And it was very successful because it helped to put it together for them, so it wasn't one other unrelated piece of information. We also talked about the Common Core state standards, and we pulled in the Common Core state standards so that fit with the Daily 5 and how to teach reading instruction so that we can prepare our students for what's to come. We spent quite a bit of time on the ongoing cycle of assessment, and then using the assessment to drive instruction, planning that assessment, and then the actual assessment, the instruction, and then we would look at the assessment from that instruction. So it was an ongoing cycle. And then the assessment would help to modify, did the students learn it, and how we would continue with our instruction. This is some teacher feedback, and we realize that it's hard to read on the screen. I'm just going to read a little bit of it. This was the feedback. After each session, the teachers would do an evaluation and give feedback. This one teacher wrote, "Everything that I have learned here will be truly treasured. I feel more confident as a teacher with everything from mini lessons to assessing. I've really learned how deep one can dig, and I intend to continue to explore all the avenues of enhancing our students with literacy." Another one said that this was a great training, and I have learned a lot of new things that I can take back to my classroom and school. Another said it was lots of information because every day was full. They would leave at the end of the day with a lot of information that they would then have to go home and just kind of decompress a little bit before they came back the next time. This teacher felt that there were great resources and discussions, that the grade level connections that they made across buildings, working with other team members outside of their building, was truly amazing. I would like to now introduce Ernie DeSantis, who is a 5th grade teacher that was part of the Reading Academy, and Fatmi Faraj, who is the principal at Maples and had several of her teachers that participated in the cohorts, and they'd like to share a few thoughts.
Thank you. I recently had an opportunity to take part in the 6-day Dearborn Teachers Reading Academy. I felt as though the facilitators did an excellent job. As teachers, we're learning all these new strategies for teaching, and one of my biggest things is when I go to a professional development, I want to be taught in the way that I'm expected to then teach my students. They did a fantastic job of modeling PSYOP strategies and presenting that information to us in the way that we're supposed to present that to our students. So good job to them. I thought it was great. Personally, it's helped me to refine my approach in teaching Daily 5. And it's also provided me with several intervention strategies for my students who are developing readers and writers, so it was very beneficial. one of my favorite things, as mentioned earlier, was being able to visit the classroom and actually see these strategies in action, which is something as teachers we don't get to do that often, to get out, branch out, and see what other teachers are doing in the classroom. So it was really nice. I really feel like everyone could benefit from this. I know I told Ross earlier, it was so, one of the things I also looked for was just being able to take strategies quickly and use them in my classroom. And that's what it was, a lot of great strategies that I could take and use in my classroom and implement quickly. So I just want to share that with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. This is one of the professional developments that really great takeaways in my building. I just wanted to thank Dr. Shankman, Dr. Chokol, and Ross and Nadra for taking this on and helping our teachers develop the skills that are most difficult to develop. As you know, the Daily 5 framework is our district framework, and it gives a framework of what we need to teach, and the balanced literacy program, and Nadra talked about the cafe menu. The cafe menu has balanced strategies under each of the components, but it's very difficult for the teacher to take something that prescribes exactly what they're going to teach and run away with it and teach it, because it's not a manual. They have to be creative on how to do it. When we studied the Daily 5 program in Dearborn, and we have been for the past 3 years, not every teacher understood it exactly on how it needs to be understood. So I thought this initiative was very helpful for some of the teachers who needed the extra scaffolding. In my building, I really took advantage of this opportunity, and I selected the teachers who I felt needed the extra scaffolding. And when I presented it to them, they were very thankful, especially after the training. Some of them said that it was definitely a worthwhile professional development. I would say 6 out of the 7 teachers, it really impacted their teaching, and I have seen a great improvement in their teaching, especially during the Daily 5 framework. What it did is it took the framework and it helped the teachers learn and go over the components of the framework, because every session that was held on the district level was very focused on a specific component, as they mentioned. According to the teachers, and from what I have observed in the classroom, it helped to review the theory behind the practice. We normally present the textbooks and we go over the textbooks with the teachers, but it really emphasized the theory this time. The DTRA put the entire picture together, and Daily 5 implementation in a complete picture. It has been implemented more effectively since the training took place, and especially with the upper elementary teachers, we tend to gear a lot of the professional developments for the early elementary teachers. I have heard from the upper elementary teachers that this training gave them the training on the word analysis, which are a set of tasks that you can use with any learner at any level, because it takes them from the bottom up and it teaches them the skills they need to develop. Whether the reader is at risk or an ELL student, it helps with those specific skills. It helped the teachers identify and balance the strategies on the cafe menu again. These are normally all the strategies needed to help develop successful readers, because they are a balance of comprehension, vocabulary, accuracy, and fluency. All teachers that attended highly recommended it to the rest of the teachers in the building. So I know we had several slots per building, but more teachers wanted to come and attend the sessions. One of the powerful practices that the training took into consideration is the classroom observations, where teachers had the opportunity to observe a skilled teacher in that specific skill for the day, and they normally followed that by discussion, instructional dialogue in the afternoon, where they came to central office and they discussed the hows and the whats of the lesson and what they could have done differently. And this is the practice we used to use a long time ago in the district. I think this is a very powerful practice, because they discussed what they saw, why it was done the way it was done, and how they could have done it differently. Not only the academy participants have benefited from this, in my opinion, but the teachers who hosted the visits, because we had hosted the visits more than one time in different grade levels. they have benefited from that too. They felt that they have improved their daily 5 practice or structure as a result of the observation, because normally when you're observed, you tend to prepare yourself and you recognize what's missing from your practice because you are being observed. I hope that the district is able to offer this opportunity again for teachers who might need it in the future, because it was very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
I guess we just wanted to see if there were any questions.
Sure. Trustee Chellis?
As a parent, I'm actually quite jealous of training like this, because I think that it's important that we train our teachers, but I wonder if there's a way that we can incorporate some of these tips and tricks and things to look out for that we could train our parents on, because I struggle with this with my 7-year-old. I read with him, and I was doing it wrong, and I didn't realize that until I had actually sat down at a parent-teacher conference, and she, went over some strategies. So she's doing one thing at school, and I'm telling him to do something else at home, and we're offsetting each other, and so, progress stops. And sometimes it's just those little tips and tricks of things that you can do with your child when you're reading at home that really make the difference. And I don't know of any programs where we teach the parents how to read with their children at different age levels, or what to look for, or, things that you can do to help them decode words and stuff like that. We're basing it on how we learned it, and frankly, I don't remember 40 years ago, however long it is, that I learned how to read. I just know that I know how to read. I didn't go to school to learn how to teach someone else. And so do you think that it's at some point it may be something that we could do with parents?
I think that's a great idea. I think some schools are doing that more than other schools are, but I don't know, like you said, of a district-wide initiative to do that.
Especially now that we have these parent contracts, and we know that, there's expectations. The parents signed the contract, but what does it mean if they don't know how to help their student?
Exactly.
I think Fatma could tell you great things that they're doing at Maples and on this very issue of having students know where their reading levels are, tracking those reading levels, and having parent training, and how that is impacting the instruction. Certainly anytime we can get, whether any subject, but particularly reading and math, provide information to our parents about how we're doing it, why we're doing it that way, so they can support us at home and see that growth.
Like what Ernie was saying, they don't need a 3-hour training session. They need some quick tips and tricks that they can take with them and, go back and use them right away instead of having to think about them too long.
Yeah, when the teachers assess the students and they know exactly what levels they are, we have a chart that we plot the children on, every individual student, and they have a learning goal. And their learning goal is to reach that specific number in reading. And based on that level, what we do is we take the assessment, whether it's DRA or SRI, and we examine the skills that the child needs next. And from the back of the DRA kit, we took the strategies that fall under the cafe menu, and we broke them down. We took the most prevalent ones, and we translated them to Arabic. And what we do during conferences is we tell the parent where the child is. The parent in front of the child, they plot that line to where they need to be. And then the teacher would present the strategies needed in order for them to reach that level. And they would show the parents the level on the back of the book, and they would tell them, here's the level right now, and here's where they need to be, and here are the strategies you need to get there. And in the monthly parent meetings too, we present those strategies, and we teach the parents on how to present them at home while the child is reading the book. And the one non-negotiable that we have in the building is that every single day the child needs to take a new book at their level, at their instructional level, in a bag. And that bag is a unique practice that it's common between all the grade levels. They take it home every day, and the parent knows that when they open that bag, they need to find at least 5 books at the instructional level, one of them being new that night, and they need to read it with a child. I think it's very powerful because it has increased reading levels in the building, and the parents are familiar with the strategies. They're also familiar with the levels, and they're familiar with the DRA expectations also for the district. So they know. They'd come in and they'd say they were level 20 3 weeks ago and they're still level 20. What should I do with them? So when the parents are speaking this language, you know that they understand what the goal is. And some of them do not even communicate in English, but they do ask these questions.
So that's an example of what we're doing.
Right.
That's wonderful.
And one other way to do it is, as the teachers gain the knowledge and these strategies and skills, then they go back to the building and they share it with their grade mates. And then when you go in for that conference, the teacher can say, this is what I've been working on with your son. Here's a real quick strategy that I'm working on. Maybe you can do the same thing at home. Once they have that understanding, and then they can share
I worry
that.
sometimes because we have conferences once a year, maybe twice if, the student's not doing so well. We have parent meetings. I know personally I've never been able to make it to a parent meeting for my elementary student because I work during the day. You know what I mean? And even in a great school, we have, 40 parents show up at a PTA meeting. When you have 500 kids in the building, 800 kids in the building, that's really not reaching out to everybody. And I know that everybody has busy, crazy lives, and just simple things like trying to decode a word. I'm working with my son to sound out all the sounds, and then I find out at school, no, they're wanting them to break it up into syllables. And you know what I mean? It's simple things like that I'm taking him 2 steps back, and we're contradicting each other, and he doesn't know who he's supposed to listen to, me or his teacher, and so, progress halts. And so I wish that, maybe even at a district level that we could have a half-hour meetings or whatever that parents could attend to learn how to help their child read.
Targeted strategies.
Right.
Yep, I can work on that.
Trustee Lane?
Dr. Schenkman last year had, just at the beginning of the summer, had a nice list and a handout of summer activities. So we should probably reissue that again this year. It really should go home with parents. I don't know if you remember that,
Yep.
Dr. Schenkman?
Yeah, both Choco.
It was not, and Dr. Shokel as well,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, whatever we can do to enlist the parents as partners. Parents are the first teachers, so,
And some of the things that we're doing, opening the elementary libraries half a day this summer, I think will help with that. Moving forward with the My Learning Plan, I think will also help get parents involved in helping their children set goals for their own learning. So we're moving in the right direction.
Great. Anybody else?
Any other questions?
Thank you very much. Great report. Next item, please.
Ooh, NSBA conference report, that's us. I'll try to keep this under 45 minutes.
Who's got the gavel? Darn, I don't get it.
Hussein will throw it at me if I go 45 minutes. Well, this, it seems like it was just yesterday, but I guess it has been probably a month or so now that we went to the National School Board Conference. Myself, I attended, Trustee McDonald, Dr. Schenkman, and Superintendent Whiston attended this is a national conference. It's attended by about 8,000 to 10,000 people a year. This year was held in New Orleans. Personally, I enjoy the conference because, with us being such a large district in Michigan, we don't have as many peer groups. When we go to the national conferences, it seems that we find more breakout sessions and more conversation and dialogue that pertain to some of the issues that we have. Because on the national level, while we're a big fish in the small pond of Michigan, at the national level, we're not a big fish at all. We talk with people who are from districts with a couple 100,000 kids, and some probably close to 1 million, I'm sure, in some of the larger county-wide districts. But it's interesting to me to see the different perspectives, the districts, to talk with districts that have language issues, that have immigration issues, that have transient populations. We don't have a lot of counterparties in the state of Michigan that we can benefit from in this aspect. So I won't keep rattling on about that. But anyway, it was a great opportunity, and I appreciate that I was able to go. General session speakers, we had some really fantastic general session speakers. We had some that were okay. But Thomas Friedman, I have to tell you, was very powerful. He's a great writer, but he had a conversation with us about something that I had not thought about, and so I just wanted to take a minute to share it with you because I thought it was pretty powerful, and it kind of goes to how our meeting started today. Up until about 15 years ago, 20 years ago, the main tool for communication had not been changed for 550 years. You know, up until 20 years ago, the most advanced technology in communication was the printing press, you know, which was technically, I guess they say it's 550 years ago, although there is some argument about how long ago it actually took place. But I mean, think about this, that in the last 15 to 20 years, we've gone from having to have everything typeset and printed in order to share information. And I'm not just talking about communicating by saying hi and hello and what's going on and are you doing something this Friday. I'm talking about communicating about ideas and information and sharing knowledge. The only way that we had to do that was through printed press. You know, the mail sped things up, and that was a great innovation, but we really haven't had any major innovations in communication up until the last 15, 20 years. Now we have information overload. So we've gone from not having any change to having so much change in such a short period of time. And all of this is directly related to education, because that sharing of knowledge is how we educate ourselves. And so from an educational institution perspective, to me, that it was just really powerful hearing that, because I feel like sometimes we're going through so many changes and we have to update policies all the time because, you know, situations change and our views on those situations change. But it's really a wonder that we haven't gone more crazy than we have, because communication and the sharing of knowledge and vetting that information. I mean, when I was in school, we didn't have to vet information. We went to the library and we did our research, and if it was in the library, then it was true. You know, it was just that simple. And nowadays we have to teach kids that just because they see the information in front of them, it doesn't mean that it's accurate. It doesn't mean that it's true. And so we have to teach them a new skill set that you and I didn't have to learn. We knew that if it was in the encyclopedia, that it was accurate, and we didn't question it. We didn't need to question it. And so now it's a different skill set that we're having to teach kids, and the rate at which we expect students to learn is just incredible. And looking at all that change just in the last 15 and even more so in the last 5 to 10 years, it's no wonder that education is changing so much. And I just think that it's a good perspective to have when we start looking at why we're moving so fast, why we're constantly changing everything all the time. We're changing things to adapt to the information and technology that we have. And I'm doing what I said I wouldn't do, which is ramble on and on. So I apologize. But we did have a couple other great speakers. Erin Gruelle was there. I don't know if any of you are familiar with her, but she is the teacher from California that the movie The Freedom Writers was made about, and she is just such an incredible, powerful speaker. She was in the general sessions, and she also had a breakout session. We had a 17-year-old author of One Size Does Not Fit All, who had some very interesting theories about how we should change education, and I'll leave it at that because it's probably not nice to talk badly about a speaker. It was an interesting perspective. It did show the difference between theory and experience, and so I'm hoping that in the next few years that he refines his theories and maybe comes back to us after he gets a little bit of experience in practicing those theories. So. And Sir Ken Robinson was quite entertaining. I don't even know how long he spoke, probably not as long as I'm speaking, so I will step aside.
Actually, you're going to continue.
Oh, I'm going to continue? Oh, I thought Roxanne was going to talk about the breakouts. Oh, okay. So anyway, during these conferences, we have general sessions. This time we actually had more general session speakers than we normally do. And then we have breakout sessions. And the breakout sessions are where you can go into a small room. Sometimes it's 10 people to up to, I think some breakout sessions have around 60. One of the ones that I went to, I think, had at least 100 in there. But it gives us an opportunity to focus in on more specialized areas. And we actually attend, normally it's just Gail and I, and so our list of breakout sessions wasn't that big. But this year with the 4 of us there, we have quite a healthy list of breakout sessions that we attended. Most of them do have material that came with it, and we can pass them along to you if you're interested in it. And we're not going to talk about any of them in specific.
We're moving on.
Okay,
We're gonna
so.
us first, and then we'll get to the
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes, we presented. We presented again, the important stuff that I forgot about. I know, I totally forgot about that.
The main event.
I'm like, tick, 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 tick. We presented again. We presented at the Michigan School Board Association as kind of our dry run to see how things would go. And then we presented on School Life, the partnership where everybody wins. To me, I enjoy talking about Dearborn, and so if I can have a captive audience where we can talk about the great things we're doing here, I want to take advantage of that. And I think that School Life is one of those things that we really should boast about. It's also great because we got to pass out our newsletter to everybody that came in there, and they got to learn more about our district while we talked to them about an idea. And I think that it was great. There was great conversation. There were a couple of districts that were really fascinated with what we were doing. One of them is actually local in Trenton, so I thought that was interesting that we had to go, a couple hundred miles away from each other to share information. But it's all good. Do you guys want to add anything about our? Okay. Oh, Rod. And Rod, and I want to thank Rod because he did an excellent job, and he's done such a wonderful job of showcasing our students. And we're in the business of education, and I know I have a business degree, but I did not do marketing. And so I appreciate people who can do it because I'm not good at it. And he does such a fabulous job of making sure that our students' stories are told. And it is important. It's important to the kids, it's important to the parents, and it's important to us as a district because with 19,000 students in our district, we have so many stories to tell, and I'm sure that if we let Rod, he could have an encyclopedia of all the stories. I'm sure it must be the most difficult thing for him to try to whittle down into the small paper that he has.
He is in the audience if you want to call him out.
I know. But seriously, hats off to you because it is a phenomenal thing, and it's something I think that we've had for so long now that we just take it for granted that it's going to be there, and the students, they really appreciate it, and to hear the things that they say about it, and to see, I see it with my own son that gets excited because there's pictures from his school in the paper, and he was so excited that I thought his picture was in there, but he's like, no, I was there though. That was me. I was there. I'm not in the picture though. But it's those things that are really meaningful to students. And, we talk about this all the time about what we notice it more when we see students that have made a turnaround, and you sit back and you ask yourself, well, how did this student go from being a failing student to being a successful student? And the common denominator is always relationships and finding what makes that student tick and what motivates them to do what they do. And School Life is a big part of that. It's a piece of paper to some people, and it's life to other people, and it's importance, and it's respect, and it's validation. And so I think that it's really important that we have that, and I appreciate all the effort that Rod puts into it because it's not just a job to him. It's passion and it's love for what he does, and so it is very much appreciated. Okay, so am I okay on time, or are they going to kick me soon? Okay, my sessions. I won't go into, I had some good sessions, and I could talk about them offline if you guys want. Whenever you go to these sessions, it's interesting because you go into it thinking it's going to be one thing, and then you're sitting there halfway through thinking, wow, this isn't what I signed up for. But I always try to find something in all of these sessions. There was engaging families and community and alternatives to expulsion, which ended up being I thought it was going to be great for tips and tricks, but it ended up being just a company that does this for them. So anyway, and then adult bullying, how to recognize it and deal with it. That one was interesting to me because they talked about a lot of the stuff that we're already doing, and so sometimes that's one of the benefits is validation that we're on the right track because look, other people are doing it too. But I'll let Gail and Roxanne have some of the microphone.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank the board for allowing me to have this opportunity to go to a really exciting conference. I was able to attend many sessions where I learned about things that other districts are doing, as I do on an annual basis, and bring them back to Dearborn. We bring them back here. We have our staff get a look at them and tool them around and make them better, like response to bullying behavior, for example. So the sessions that we attended were quite diverse. For example, the first session that's on here, professional interaction, school culture and statistics, Sustainable School Improvement, Connecting the Dots, was by a very small district, Dobbs Ferry, New York, with an enrollment of 1,480 students. And then there are very large districts. Like Trustee Shellis had said, planning for quality in your online blended learning program, something we're certainly looking at with our middle schools right now, and our summer school program was presented by Clark County, Nevada, with an enrollment of 320,000 students. That's Las Vegas. The leadership, the couple that I'm going to talk a little bit longer about are the Leadership Development Institute that was presented by one district. One district shared their program, and they have all of the members of their community, their administrators, their teachers, their non-instructional staff, as well as their parents apply and are selected for this opportunity. And it's funded by their business community, multi-sessions. As part of the institute, they develop projects that benefit the district. Azusa Unified School District in California has taken the adoption of the Common Core State Standards as an opportunity to raise expectations for their English learners, and they had a very interesting presentation. They shared their professional development and parent engagement efforts in their session. Whoops. And we're always looking for meaningful ways to involve our parents and their students' education, and parent engagement strategy, Create Your Own Parent Academy, kind of spoke to what you were looking at about the reading program. And there is a school district, Academy School District, that offered semester-long classes for parents based on the parents' interest. A district in New Hampshire is faced with out-of-district charter school competition, and they created a small school of choice that included individual student learning plans, as we're looking at doing, and world language classes in an extended school year. So that was very interesting.
The conference is always a tremendous opportunity, and I appreciate having that opportunity to learn as well. As a group, we attended more than 25 sessions, as well as our own presentation, which we discussed earlier. Most of the sessions that I attended were very informative. I attended The Leader of the Future, Values-Driven Governance, 21st Century Education is So Last Century, Student Aspirations, Macro-Managing to Inspire Excellence, Cyberbullying, the Internet and Suicide, and Capital Improvements, where is the waste, fraud, and abuse. Now, because I'm somewhat new to the school board, a lot of these were professional development type classes to help me learn more. So in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through any of those, but I do want to share one with you that I took that had some interesting information, and that was the Capital Improvements, Where's the Waste, Fraud, and Abuse session. That was presented by John Crory. He's a director of McLaudry, LLP. I decided to attend this session because of the support and faith that Dearborn community had showed us recently in approving the SMART bond. And I believe having at least a general knowledge of waste and fraud and abuse that can occur in capital improvements would be helpful. The speaker began with an eye-opening statistic. He said that up to 25% of all construction projects have some sort of fraud involved in them. And there are three sides to what he described as the fraud triangle, and that is opportunity, rationalizing, and pressure. 10% of people are so honest that they would never even consider doing anything unethical. 10% of people are so dishonest that they would take any opportunity given to them to commit fraud. But the other 80% of people perhaps will commit fraud if the conditions are right. And those conditions, again, include the opportunity, the ability to rationalize, I really deserve this or I really need this, and the pressure. And in a bad economy, everybody feels the pressure. So fraud can be committed by a wide variety of people, including employees and subcontractors and suppliers and consultants. And some of the areas that he said were important to monitor in preventing fraud were rolling forward errors, false invoices, inflated rates, billing for unperformed work, overstating production or labor used, using lower grade materials, theft, billing for time and materials in lump sum when perhaps they were budgeted. Billing for time and materials when they were budgeted as lump sums. Contractor collusion issues can also be found, and that's bid rigging and price fixing and bribes and kickbacks, that kind of thing. He said change order is one place that you really have to keep your eye on. And he gave the example, he showed a picture of a yacht and a dinghy. And the dinghy was labeled project, and the yacht was labeled change order. So he said that's something that you just always want to keep your eye on. And recognizing that most common types of construction fraud recognizing the most common types of construction fraud and establishing internal controls are the first steps in preventing, deterring, and detecting fraud. Now, because of the tight controls that Dearborn has in place and the extensive vetting processes that we go through, I am confident that our projects will not be part of that 25% statistic that I mentioned earlier. So again, it was a very interesting conference. One thing I did want to share with you, the ladies that had presented on student aspirations, they also created a workbook. And it's very interesting, and they encouraged us to take some for our board members and just to have in our district if anyone was interested, and I have several copies. So it's good information and kind of gives you a chance to evaluate yourself on how you think you're doing as a board member and evaluate the board in general, and gives you things to think about that perhaps you hadn't before. So again, thank you for the opportunity. I enjoyed the conference and learned a lot.
Sounds like we got our money's worth at this conference.
One other quick thing that I do want to mention, because I totally forgot to give Brian the information, but they also have a vendor expo. I find them fascinating because it kind of gives us an idea of what the up-and-coming, new trends and stuff are. One of the companies that we went to that we have to give a shout out to was, and I can't remember the name of it, the iPad covers. They have, and I'll get the information. I just totally forgot about it and just remembered now. But they had notepad covers, and they're really high quality notepad covers. Gail's gonna show hers.
I was thinking the name might be in it.
Yeah, but what was great about them is that schools can have them embellished with their school logos and names, and the pricing on them was incredibly reasonable. And they were still cheaper than what you could buy a brand new one for in the store. And I thought, wow, that's such a great idea, and it's a great case as well. I mean, it's not just something that can be embellished, but it's leather and it's durable. But I thought in this day and age with the up and coming and everybody, bringing their own device and wanting to have them protected, giving those opportunities for students to also give a shout out to their school at the same time. So I'll make sure to get the card and give that to you. One of the other ones that was a big hot hit this year was alcohol and drug testing. And they were mouth swabs for alcohol testing, which we don't need that in Dearborn because we use the breathalyzers at different functions if it's necessary. But the concept of drug testing students for athletics, I thought was an interesting topic that probably will be vetted out over the next couple of years. There were a lot of districts there that they were talking about that require students to have a drug test in order to play sports. So preparing them for the workforce. Anyway. So I apologize for taking so long.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments?
But it really was a great conference, and I appreciate the opportunity to go.
Great, thank you. Very good report. I'll give you a chance to get to your seat.
Next item.
Yes.
Action item, special consideration of an action item. Are there any agenda items on this agenda which board members of the superintendent wish to discuss and vote on separately? We do have an amendment or a supplement which needs to be pulled, so number 20.
Number 20?
President Barry, I just
Any
have
other?
a question on number 6.
And I'm
Just
sorry,
a question?
Just a question.
That's fine, yeah, we'll
6.
take that after the motion's on the
Okay.
table, so just 20.
Cleaning of carpeting.
Okay, was there any others? So just number 20,
Yep.
Madam Secretary.
Move that action items numbered 1 through 19 be approved as recommended in this agenda.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support, and there was a question regarding number 6.
Yes. Number 6 was for carpet cleaning for the district, and we had 2 bids that came in, and the difference between the bids were less than $2,700. One was a large company, and the other one was a local business. And I was just wondering, at what point is it worth paying the premium to support a Dearborn business?
Well, the difference is $2,655, which allows me to buy several new computers.
Okay.
That's the thing we've got to think about. You know, I have a computer cart I could order. I could have several, I could actually order almost at $300 a piece. That's, you know, I can order 30 iPads that we need in the classroom. So I think it's a valid point always to look at our local businesses. That's a very, very important point for us to remember. But 26, even though we say it's only $2,655, that's a cart for technology that's, like I said, that $300 a piece, that's a lot of iPads. I mean, we have to look at both options.
Yeah, I understand that. I just wanted to bring it forward, and when you think about it too, though, it is small in the sense that it's like just over 1% of the total bed, so, and.
Yeah, but we gotta
No,
be
it's
careful with
8%.
percentages, because
Yeah.
if we try to set a policy that
Well, I
does with
wouldn't want to set up a
percentages,
policy,
yeah.
but I just always want to keep that in mind, and
It's a-
if all things are pretty much equal, I think that at some point we do need
I
to
just wanna-
take care of our own.
Right, but the bid's 8% different. It's not 1%.
Oh, was it 8%
If you,
difference?
yeah, if you multiply out the 55 cents times 590,000 square feet, the difference is 2,655
yeah.
divided by is 8%.
Oh, it's 8%, okay. I thought it was less than that. I didn't
Very
fully do
good-
my
it's a
math.
Very good point.
But it's a good point.
We do need to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, because it was like
Agreed.
55 cents versus 59 cents or something.
Questions
That's-
been asked?
That's
Okay.
almost 10%.
Okay. There is no objection to the motion. The motion will be adopted.
point.
Next item.
Well, let
No,
me
I'm
read
sorry.
the
I'm
summary of
sorry.
agenda
I'm sorry.
items.
We need to-
I actually remembered this time. Number 1, approval of warrants, which are items for payment by the district and have been reviewed by the administration. Number 2, approval of user license for Google Apps Vault. Number 3, approval of construction contracts for Dearborn Heights Center, Salina Intermediate, Howard, Lindbergh, Snow, McDonald, Hagan, Laurie. Number 4, approval of bond project contract changes. Number 5, approval of replacement of ground care equipment. Number 6, approval of cleaning of carpets throughout the district. Number 7, approval of shredded wood for playgrounds. Number 8 through 10, approval of non-instructional and instructional personnel items for P12. Number 11, approval of the monthly financial statements. Number 12, approval of issuance of bank line of credit. Number 13, approval of 6th, 7th grade program. 14, approval of 8th, 9th grade program. Number 15, approval of memo of understanding between Garden City Public Schools and Dearborn Public Schools. Number 16, approval of school of choice resolution that Dearborn Public Schools will not accept applications for non-resident school of choice. Number 17, approval of 2014-15 Wayne Risa General Fund operating budget. Number 18, approval of cooperative agreement with Wayne Westland Schools. Number 19, approval of donations.
Thank you. Catch your breath. I'll give you a chance to catch your
That was
breath.
quick.
Now we'll go back.
That was
to
a
number-
long list.
Yes.
I'm trying to
We'll go
make
back
up for
20.
time for talking so much.
We'll go back to 20.
Number
now.
20, call for special meeting closed. Recommended action, move that special meeting be held on Tuesday, May 27th, 2014, at 6 PM in the Frank Franchi Boardroom at the Administrative Service Center. The purpose of the meeting closed is to hear or take action on a request from the Superintendent of Schools for student expulsion per Section 8B of the Open Meetings Act.
So moved.
Support.
Got motion support. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Adams.
Yes.
Trustee Guido.
Yes.
Trustee Lane. Yes. Trustee McDonald.
Yes.
Trustee Shellis, yes. Trustee Schoolmaster.
Yes.
President Barry.
Yes. Next item, please. Discussion item.
I'm lost in my papers. Discussion items. Dearborn Heights Center Transfer Agreement, Board Report 13-151.
Just very quickly, as the board knows, we have been working on transferring the Dearborn Heights Center from Henry Ford College to back to Dearborn Schools. As you know, Dearborn Schools, we own the building, but the college has literally spent, I don't have the report in front of me, but upwards of $15 million of improvements. So we're looking at moving that building back to Dearborn and issuing the purchase, not purchase, but reimbursing the college $1.5 million for the improvements that they've made over the years. And so with the board's approval, we'll be bringing that forward at the next agenda for that to occur. We've been working on this for the last.
Yeah.
And can you mention once again for the public what we intend to do there?
So it's going to be a combination of a lot of different programs. We're going to have the 6th, 7th program there, the 8th, 9th program there, the HOW program there, DCMST continued there, Dr. Shankman, but special ed is there. I think I've covered it all. Yeah. So
And it's going to be a much better use of the facility as the college only has 1 or 2 programs there at the present time?
And they'll be moving out between now and the start of next school year. But the key thing is it does allow us to consolidate several buildings, stop paying rent on a couple facilities, and it's actually going to save us money operationally in the long run. So,
thank you. Ms. Blackburn.
That was the question that I had. Well, if I understood you correctly, all the college programs will be out of there by next fall?
that's correct.
Okay, what about the certificate programs at the Berry Career Center? Those will remain?
Yep, those will remain. Nothing will change on the Michael Berry side of the campus.
Okay, that stays as it is.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to say that, you know, so many districts nowadays, you hear about them having to close buildings, and once the students leave the building, it seems like buildings just degrade so quickly without having life inside of them. And I think that it's great in our district that we're able to take back this building at a relatively very small cost to bring more opportunities to our students. We're very lucky in our district that we have the growth that we've had for the last 25, 30 years. You know, most districts in our size and smaller are looking at downsizing. And, you know, we've been expanding. And while it's an expense that we have to do, it's really, truly a statement to our district, and that people are still moving into our communities to go to our schools.
But after a couple of years, it will be a cost savings to the district.
Oh, absolutely, right. I just meant that, you know,
Right.
whenever you have to expand, it's like when we have to add a teacher because our classrooms are full. It's an expense, but it's actually a great testament to our schools and what we're doing with children. And I think it's a great opportunity. I think the programs that are going there are going to benefit from it. I think the consolidation of services is something that over time is going to really save us money, not just money, but also time, which, you know, isn't always quantified. And having those services in one location, I think, is going to be a great benefit. And it's opportunities that we get to bring to our students. So I'm really pleased that we're able to take back the building.
I couldn't agree with you more. Plus, it's a win-win situation because the college is going to be saving over $800,000 a year in maintenance costs and the like. They do have room for the programs that they're going to be bringing back, and so it's a significant savings to the college also.
Well, and it's a great testament to the cooperation between the college and the schools. You know, the early college has moved to the college campus, leaving that building so that we have room for other programs, and it just shows that we're working as one community and one district, and I appreciate
They
the
also have a
cooperation
great
that's
board.
happening. Yeah, they do. The college does have a really good board.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you. That was shameless, wasn't it?
Good point, though.
Yes.
Joe.
Next item. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to mention that some of what we have paid the college for that building was to reimburse them for some capital improvements that they've made over the years.
Correct.
And they've taken very good care of the building. So
Yes.
it isn't something we've had to go back in and do a lot of maintenance on. It's the expenditures that we're making are for program purposes, and I think for some handicap access, some additional
Correct.
toilet rooms, those kinds of things. We haven't had to spend money to go back in and repair things that the college didn't maintain. They did a very good job.
You're absolutely
of
correct.
maintaining the
Very good
building.
point.
So it was a smooth transition.
Very good point. And it is a testament to the cooperation between the two entities, and I'm particularly happy about the special programs we can offer students. That's the main reason to do it.
Thank you, Pam.
So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, acknowledgement of correspondence. I don't think I received any.
I don't think that I received any.
no,
Next item, please.
Board of Education business, board member committee and organization reports.
I know that we had a committee report today.
We did. We had, just prior to this meeting, we had a policy meeting, a committee meeting, and we discussed two students that basically, due to a technicality, didn't meet the graduation requirements. So we wanted to make sure that they were on track to graduate.
We'll be voting on them at the next meeting. Because the state of Michigan has the requirements for graduation, there's certain check check boxes that they have to make. These two particular students, the variance that they need is because they didn't take the MME, and it had to do with them being behind and not being technically an 11th grader, and then they've caught up, and so they didn't have the opportunity to take the MME. The state of Michigan requires students to take the MME. They don't have to pass it, but they just have to take it. And so because they didn't take it, they need our agreement to allow them to graduate.
I think it's important to the community that they understand that individuals have college, or the credits that they
Yes.
need.
They
And so
need-
that's,
yes,
there's
this
no
is-
waiver of credits.
yeah,
There
no,
is
it's not a
sometimes a
waiver of
waiver of
credit.
MME, which is something that we're required to take, but not required to pass.
Right, and to me, that's
As you
not something that
indicated.
should stop someone's future. I think that these students, these two particular students made significant progress
And
in a
worked
very
hard.
short amount of time, and they definitely deserve to graduate. So I hope that you'll be supportive at the next meeting when we vote on it.
Thank you for your recommendation. Next item, please.
Board member commentary.
Ms. Lane.
Several of us attended the superintendent's honors night, and it was really, it's one of my favorite events of the year. It's really terrific. This year it was really great. One point that I wanted to make is that many years ago there used to be a sit-down dinner, and because of budget cuts, we've had to do things differently. Now we get a can of soda instead of a dinner. But in fact, it forced us to do things better because the students get up in front of everyone assembled there, which is several, oh man, I don't know how many people. It must be at least a couple hundred, but I don't know if it was 1,000. But they all speak about what it is that made their selected teacher special. And most of them are really dressed up. They're really excited about it. It's students that have won high honors and are graduating with high honors. There were a couple that had a hard time speaking, so it gets them up in front of a crowd. Almost everyone wants to get up there and speak. There was one young woman who had a hard time speaking, and we all felt so great when she got through her speech. There's been lots of other young people that have gotten up. Some of them sign language, or they delivered their speech in sign. Some of them delivered their speech in foreign languages. And one art student delivered a speech and then delivered a portrait done of her favorite teacher. Wow. It's just a terrific event, and I can't let the moment go by without mentioning it. I know graduation is coming up. I won't be here for graduations. I will be out of town, and it's the first time I will miss them in 15 years. I'm really sorry about that, but it's such a fantastic event. I do want to congratulate everybody. I know there's another meeting before then, but all of the seniors, I'm excited for all of them. It's really terrific. And one of them is here tonight. I think, are you not graduating, Brandon? No? Oh, okay. I was good.
He likes to be behind the camera.
Yeah,
He likes to be on the other side of the camera.
Behind the camera, but he's graduating. No, I'm not. No, I just want to say that it's an exciting event, and congratulations to everybody who's graduating. So we'll have lots more parties coming up, but I know May 30th is their last day, and we'll be meeting just shortly before then. So I'm really excited for graduation. I don't know if any of the seniors are, but
I think they're very excited.
Yeah. This is the time of the year that final exams are given, and we saw the Film Society's final exam with the 49-cent store, and in particular cereal that my grandchildren just loved. I've taken them to many, many movies, and while I think that they liked it as much as any professional movie that's ever been made, they laughed and laughed and laughed. And so, once again, congratulations to the film people because of the fact that they passed their final exam with high honors.
Yeah, and they survived sitting through our board meetings, too.
Yes, I know.
That's the real test.
Test
of
that is a
endurance.
real testament.
Next item, please.
Request for information and/or future agenda items.
I have the one from earlier, but we had already planned a summertime acknowledgement of all the various scholarships. We just are compiling the list.
Thank
so
you.
We don't want to
Next.
forget anybody.
Next item, please.
Superintendent's report, proposed 2014-2015 summer board meeting dates, board report 13-152.
So we're following the same process where we have the P12 one meeting first in July, the college second, and then in August we reverse, the college goes and then we go. You have that schedule. It's the same schedule we've been following for a number of years.
I will not be here on August 25th.
Okay.
But there's no reason why you can't meet without me. I just in case I forget to tell you, or if there's anything important that you need me to review before I leave, I won't be here on that day.
So if there's not any concerns, we'll move forward with that recommendation. Just two things on personal commentary very quickly. Mary stole one, and that's the superintendent's night. And not just because it's the superintendent's night, but it's because we celebrate the great thing, not only teachers, because there was coaches, mentors, I think there was a lunchroom lady, interpreter. We had a lot of different employees that students called back, and several of the teachers multiple times. And you saw Ernie DeSantis, and I always love when early elementary teachers are called back.
Wow.
They have the students are graduating, and they have these people in kindergarten or whatever grade, and they're calling those teachers back for the difference they made in their lives. And we heard stories of some illnesses and what impact teachers had.
Bullying.
We heard stories of students who had only been here a year or less, and
7 months.
Yeah, and
7 months, and
no speaking
he got
English.
up and spoke in English
Yes.
in front of hundreds of people. It's so
Relationships.
awesome.
It's all about
It's relationships. And like Member Lane said, people took French class and honored their French teacher and spoke to him in French.
They're going to have it on the cable channel as well.
Oh, very exciting. So people do get to see it.
Yep.
So not because it's the superintendent's night I want to mention it because the heartfelt stories of students getting up there and talking about what the difference teachers made in their lives. I wish the legislature had to sit through that meeting. I wish that the news media had to sit through and listen to that, because the picture of education is so different when you hear those kinds of stories.
So it wasn't the superintendent of the year event.
No, this was Dearborn employees of the year event, which is more
Maybe
important.
we should send the legislature a copy
That'd be interesting.
of the event,
We could certainly do that.
along with our list of things that we think they should do this year.
Spend their time on, right? The other thing is graduations. Mary Lane also mentioned that one, and not that she won't be here, but we have to go to print, so we do need to know what board members will be at what events and who's speaking at what events. They've got to go to print on these things. So I just ask you before you leave tonight to confirm with Dawn what you're going to be doing so that we can get that on to the schools. It is an exciting time, obviously, of the year, very busy time, but it's when we get to celebrate students and staff, so what better time of the year is there?
Right.
That's it.
Thank you. Next item.
Let me take a deep breath here.
Yeah.
Future meeting dates, Monday, May 19th, 2014, HFC meeting, 7 p.m. at the Andrew Mazzara Service and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom, Henry Ford College. Tuesday, May 27th, 2014, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom.
6 o'clock first, though.
Oh, yes, we just did. We just voted. So we have a 6 o'clock closed session and 7 p.m. general meeting. Thank you, Jim. Monday, June 9th, 2014, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom. Monday, June 16th, 2014, HFC meeting, 7 p.m. at the, that HFC's thrown me, at the Andrew Mazzara Service and Conference Center in the Rosenau Boardroom, Henry Ford College. Monday, June 23rd, 2014, P12 Board of Education meeting, 7 p.m. at the Administrative Service Center in the Frank Franchi Boardroom.
Thank you, and we are adjourned.